This next event is scheduled for one fall. 20-minute time limit. At stake will be the Pro Wrestling Express Tag Team Championship.
Smart enough to not win. In oblivion.
Lee Moriarty and his partner from the Florida King Pro.
If we're taking orders, I'll have a number 6 with fries. PWX Tag Team Championship at stake, defending 3-time champions and newly crowned once again champions, the Enforcers, Max Daniels and Crusher Hansen, taking on 2 members of Brandon K's The Order, a new group of individuals that Brandon has trained and mentored.
And Crusher Hansen.
That Brandon has kind of programmed to follow his orders, for lack of a better term. In the ring is Lee Moriarty, and on the outside of the ring is Ganon Jones Jr., who was the first talent that really Brandon K started to mentor in Ganon's training period. And that really caught Crusher Hansen off guard, because Crusher mentioned that Crusher was very instrumental in Ganon Jones' training as well. But apparently Brandon K has been upset by what he perceives as a lack of loyalty for quite a while, and he's already rallied his students to believe in that doctrine that there's no friends here, there's no loyalty, and all we have is each other, and that's where this order comes from, Jim.
And let's keep in mind, Joe, Brandon K was in a championship race with Jack Pollock. And the bottom line is, before Brandon was injured, this contingent was put together to essentially ensure that Brandon was going to win the championship race. Could you imagine the power that Brandon K would have attained if he would be the PWX heavyweight champion right now? This was a grand plan, this is a power play, and this was Brandon K being ego-driven and brainwashing these students.
And Ganon Jones Jr., the previous champion, certainly they were very close, were the order, to having the championship in their stable between Brandon and Ganon.
And keep in mind, this grand plan goes back at least a year. Brandon has sold everyone out a long time ago.
I think Crusher Hansen made a great point when he confronted Brandon a little bit ago. Crusher said, you know what? I've learned the hard way what happens when I turn on the fans and when I kind of go down a darker path. These fans, though, they expect it from me, from Crusher Hansen. They don't expect it from you, Brandon K. And really, Brandon K, he was always that rock. He really was that measuring stick. He was that one thing you can count on. Month in, month out, year in and year out. And Brandon K, I guess the pressure got to him. I guess he cracked. There's no other way to put it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Brandon K feels underappreciated. But you and I both know these fans, when Brandon K was injured, literally hundreds of get well wishes came through social media for Brandon K.
Crusher on top of Moriarty for 2. And keep in mind, it wasn't just the order being formed to ensure that Brandon K would win the PWX championship and win the championship race in a year. But let's look at the other side of that same coin. They also were to ensure that Jack Pollock did not win that championship race, and they were very successful in that regard.
Absolutely true. And with Brandon on the sidelines, his mission remains the same. He wants to destroy the promotion that he helped build. And this may get me in trouble with a few people, but I think the argument could be made that there wouldn't be a PWX today without Brandon K. So it's certainly a very ironic situation, because when things got bad in PWX, over 20 some odd years, Brandon K was always there to right the ship.
Yeah, but you know what? You could say the same in a lot of respects about Crusher Hansen.
Absolutely.
He's been here since day one. He's helped Brandon K with his training class. Crusher's helped mentor these kids that are now drinking the Brandon K Kool-Aid. And that's why Crusher is affected so personally by Brandon K's decision. Nice suplex by Ganon Jones Jr. for 2. You can never, ever dispel or disparage the athletic prowess of Ganon Jones Jr. And I'll tell you what, from what I've heard and from what little bit I've seen from Lee Moriarty, he's right in that conversation as well. As far as a complete package out of the PWX training school, Moriarty, from what I understand, is the next guy to watch. I know you see that power drive elbow. Nicely done for a count of 2. Moriarty is wrestling with a quickness and a confidence unbecoming of his inexperience.
Absolutely true. Let's not be lost in the commotion of this Brandon K propaganda that Ganon Jones Jr., one of the best athletes we've ever seen here in this promotion. And to your point, Moriarty, who was inspired by the legendary Bruce Lee, is a well-versed martial artist and a tremendous athlete in his own right. Nothing but positive reviews coming for him. However, I have to say it's very disappointing that he's joined this cause of Brandon K.
And let's point out that this is Moriarty's very first match ever as Ganon finds 2.
And he certainly showed a poise well beyond that.
Absolutely. And a lot of that certainly is indicative of Brandon K as well. And look at Moriarty mocking Max Daniels. Into the cover. Count of 2. Moriarty, in his very first professional match, could win the PWX Tag Team titles. Think about how many years some people work to win their first championship.
And I'll tell you what, you and I both know that Brandon K promised such opportunities to these young kids. He said, hey, here's the plan. You want to come along for the ride? You want to enjoy the riches? And that's what could be happening right here if these guys are successful.
Bay Detroit, Max Daniels getting caught. Wait a second. There's the franchise special, the belly to belly. But can Daniels get the Crusher to tag in the veteran? And Crusher's involved. It's the 20-year veteran and the debut match, one-on-one.
Swing and a miss by Crusher.
Oh, didn't miss that time.
Big time knockdown center ring, hook of the leg.
Oh. And you gotta wonder what's going through the mind of Brandon K now, watching his newest star student face the man he's known in PWX the longest, but Ganon's involvement allows Lee Moriarty to turn the tide.
Hook of the leg here. Sorry, Joe.
And again, to our point, Lee Moriarty hooking the leg. It's his first match. He's not making the rookie mistakes you'd expect, and a lot of that is having your trainer right at ringside to be a sort of a makeshift coach.
And I'll tell you what, Joe. It is.
And check out Brandon K mocking Crusher Hansen and berating him while Crusher's being beaten up by Brandon's students. That's so disrespectful.
And this is nothing that we have ever seen from Brandon K. It's so odd to see him act this way because, quite frankly, we've never seen this from him. And quite frankly, I never thought it was in Brandon K as a person. I didn't think it was in his makeup, his DNA, his soul to behave like this, especially towards the promotion that he helped build.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It seems surreal. It seems like a bad dream that you want to wake up from. But unfortunately, it is all too much of a reality. And Moriarty back in, and Crusher finds himself in trouble thanks to Moriarty and Ganon.
And there we're seeing the martial arts background of Moriarty. As I said, he was inspired by the legendary Bruce Lee, and that's a great inspiration. However, I don't think Mr. Lee would be too...
Wait a second, quick roll up by Crusher, 2-0.
I don't think Mr. Lee would be too proud of Moriarty's intentions here, but what a vertical leap from Ganon.
Crusher was inching for a tag, got caught by Ganon in a near fall. And Ganon mocking Crusher Hansen's need of a tag. Daniel's not going to back down from anybody, but you can see that imposing presence of Ganon Jones Jr.
Ganon very proud of himself.
Cover. No.
And think about this pairing. We've seen such a change in Ganon, and very coincidentally, such a change in Brandon K. We now know who had the influence on Ganon.
Yeah, well, we had thought that maybe Ganon Jones Jr. was himself cracking under pressure, but I guess we know that the true crack, if you will, in the foundation was a little bit deeper than we had suspected. And Moriarty quickening the pace.
What impact!
Oh, Crusher able to drop Moriarty. Crusher with an opportunity here. Can he get to the tag? Can he get to Daniel?
And Crusher peppering the rookie on the canvas.
Here comes Ganon, here comes Daniels.
And this ain't the first time that Daniels has thrown punches from every direction. I'll tell you that. Made in Detroit is ready to go.
And this match has broken down, and that's advantage enforcers to me.
The blue-collar brawlers are taking it to the order right here.
Crusher went to the outside and landed hard on his knee. We'll follow that story. But right now in the ring, Daniels drops Moriarty face first.
What a maneuver, but Crusher is very, very hurt.
Crusher hurt badly. That may have been a freak accident of some sort. Ganon punishing Crusher. Now wait a second. David Lawless, the other member of this group, along with Samuel Adams, there's just too many of them. Ganon gets involved.
Ganon's in the ring. Brandon distracting Joe McCoy.
Oh no! Oh, the choke slam, the backcracker. Don't tell me. We have new tag team champions. The other member of the Order here this week, that's Jax Jordan in the mask. Samuel Adams is not here this week. I shudder to think where he is. But now you see, almost in mask, the Order celebrates Lee Moriarty, his very first match. He's a tag team champion.
One matchup, one championship. Lee Moriarty has just made history. It's unprecedented.
And Ganon Jones Jr., just a couple of weeks after losing the PWX championship, has gold in his possession again, and the Order have gained some of that power you talked about earlier. Their mission, their cause, starting to come together.
Could this be a very disturbing sign of things to come? What will the Order do to the Pro Wrestling Express?
Oh, it's only the beginning.